I'm vengeance. That was awful. I'm vengeance. He didn't really do that voice, actually. Kind of disappointed. Kind of expected it at this point. But oh well, yes, I'm talking about the Batman. 2022, maybe. Haven't looked it up. I'll put something if it's not 2022. The Batman, Robert Pattinson, and some other people. It was good, but I have some thoughts. I'm more of a Marvel guy. I'll be real. Been a little Marvel kid for quite a while. Batman's never really spoken to me. He's always had a bit of that aura about him. He's always been a bit cool. But I don't know, like, it's just never really grabbed me the same way, you know, a Spider-Man or something like that has really managed to do. So I kind of skipped this one. I haven't seen any Ben Affleck Batmans. I have no interest in seeing that. Maybe I'll watch that. I was going to do a video called like Marvel Fanboy Watches DC EU for the first time. But who knows if I'll actually ever do that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the Batman because it was an interesting film. And I had a few things to say about it. And I think I liked it. Let me start you off. I'm pretty sure I liked it. It was a fairly traditional sort of Batman story. I thought it was strange. It assumed that the audience knew a lot about Batman, which fair, Batman's been about and there's been a few movies. But I do think when you're starting off a new universe, you kind of want to, I don't know, like I get that we're just kind of jumping straight into things. That's fine. But, you know, the fact that Commissioner Gordon only trusts Batman to start with and no other cops, just straight away off the bat, he's like, you know what, mate? You're actually the guy. I'm gonna trust it. For these guys that I work with, do not care. I thought that was strange. I'd like to see just a little bit of how they got there, to be quite honest. But it was good overall. I quite enjoyed it, and I just think that a lot of the pieces were there, and it wasn't quite what I wanted. 3-hour runtime as well, by the way. That's quite long. 3 hours, and about 2 hours in, I kind of thought we were near the end, and we weren't. And I thought to myself, to be fair, if it did end here, I don't think I'd be satisfied with what I've got here. So the 3-hour runtime was kind of justified, but at the same time, there was still a lot of stuff not happening that much. And don't get me wrong, I liked where it was going, but I just thought it was strange that the Riddler's plan kind of went that way. Also, spoilers, big spoilers if any of you care about that. The movie's been out for a few years, so I'm surprised I didn't get it spoiled, to be quite honest. I knew nothing going into this apart from that Robert Pattinson was Batman. And you know what? Moving on to Robert Pattinson as Batman, he was good. I think he plays a very different style of Bruce Wayne, but the Batman is the Batman we're familiar with. Maybe slightly more autistic, just a little bit. But that's relatable. You know, that's for the good people at home who are watching this. His Batman was broody. He was nonchalant. He kind of did not know how to interact with people, which did extend to his Bruce Wayne as well. But you can kind of pull it off when you're Batman. When you're Bruce Wayne, you just come across as awkward. And I don't know, maybe I'm blinded by that sort of Tony Stark persona, but I think that Bruce Wayne should have at least a little bit more about him. It just feels like they really skipped over that kind of part of the story. It was very much a Batman story. I felt like that relationship with Alfred, when you see Alfred get blown up, you're meant to be like, oh no, Alfred's cooked, boys. Oh, this character that I've loved for years. Wait, no, I haven't, because he's a new Alfred. And you didn't really establish to me quite how close him and Bruce were. To be honest, from their interactions, it kind of seemed like they barely knew each other. Like, Bruce didn't want any part of him being involved in his stuff, really. He was very, like, despondent and kind of didn't give Alfred much to go off. And then Alfred didn't really come across as that sort of presence that has been guiding him. He has that whole kind of like spiel about it when he's in the hospital, but I never really got that sense from the way the film was written or whatever, just the time they spent together, that he had been that guy for him. I don't know. It was a lot of it felt rushed. I mean, the Catwoman stuff felt rushed, to be quite honest. I think it would have been much better for me it would have made much more sense if there was no kiss. We don't need to. It felt like they were like, oh, okay, Batman gets with Catwoman, so we got to get them to get together. And I just didn't. I thought it was nice that there was a bit of subtle tension, a bit of subtlety. I thought it was nice that, they could gaze into each other's eyes, and that was about it, because Batman's on job. He's on mission. He's not messing about doing all of that. And it still felt out of place. It felt like when they kissed, he wasn't really looking for that, to be quite honest, which I guess was the point. But I don't know, it just felt like it didn't need to happen at all. Like, Selena Kyle and this Catwoman had her own story. A lot of it, kind of involved her, the way the story went, and I thought that was interesting. I thought she had enough to do by herself without, having to just be Batman's love interest. So, I don't know. I thought that was a little bit forced, if I'm quite honest. Not that I hated it. It kind of worked. But yeah, just save it for a second. Maybe because they didn't know they were going to get a second film, they kind of crammed some stuff into this one. But I mean, you could have saved that one for me. I think we knew we were getting another Batman. Save the romance to build up for the next one, Get some distance between them because she's gone away at the end of the film or whatever. Get some distance, and then when she comes back, he can be like, oh, I missed you actually, and I'm not just Batman sometimes. So I think that could be good. Now, let me just say that the film was beautiful in a lot of ways. It was intentionally grubby a lot of times. I don't... Tangent alert. I'm absolutely baffled why anyone lives in Gotham. I'm sure people have said this. I'm sure people will say this. Why does anyone live there? It seems absolutely awful. Crime all the time, everywhere. The city's basically, I swear it's never got sunlight. If it does, the sun's going down. In any shot you see, the sun is setting. I suppose probably because Batman does his work in the nighttime, but still, you'd never see the sun up. If the sun is up, it's grey. You can't see the sun. It's cloudy. It's gloomy. It's always bad. Every single depiction of Gotham seems bad. Why does anyone live there? Move out. Leave. Catwoman leaves at the end of the film. I was like, fair enough. I would have gone a long time ago. The whole Riddler situation, he's so pissed at what Gotham and the people there have done to him. Leave. I'm sure there's other cities in America. He's got enough money to go and buy a load of explosives. Mad tangent here. Spoilers again if you have not seen this. He got enough money to go and buy bare explosives, set them up all around the city, and do all of this Riddler shit, right? But he ain't got enough money to just hop in a car and get out of Gotham, move somewhere else. Absolutely bizarre to me. So yeah, why does anyone live there? Absolutely terrible city. But anyway, it looked as beautiful as it could be on the big screen. I saw it on a 60, 70 inch screen. So not quite the cinema, but it some of those shots, you could just take screenshots and they would look fantastic. The framing was absolutely unreal. Just the way that they would picture scenes and all of that. I'm not an expert, but it looked really nice. I will give him that. It looked lovely. But I don't think the rest of it kind of came with that, the kind of suaveness that they carried across with the filming, I'm not sure translated to the rest of the movie. I will say whenever Batman did something, whenever he did an action thing, it looked sick. It looked pretty sick. That bit where he fires both his grappling hooks into two guys' legs and then swings off the beam, that's sick. That's cool as hell. Obviously the shot where he's walking away from the car and it's upside down and whatever, it's sick. Absolutely so cool. So I can't knock that whatsoever. Also, point I raised whilst I was watching this, I know it's the design of the character, don't come at me, but why is his jaw always exposed? Bro's got bulletproof armor on his entire body, jaw's just out, just taking hits. What? Does he just take juices to the absolute jaw? He just got the strongest chin on the planet. I do not understand why that bit of him is exposed as a character. There's no way that you can logically explain that. Going on that point, actually, this might be the first time... I've watched a lot of superhero movies, bear in mind. This might be the first time that I've watched a superhero movie and been like, he looks out of place. Why is he wearing a bat costume? Because the film was so gritty and grungy, and it wanted to be so real that when Batman's fucking turning up to a crime scene and all the police are there and proper people and he's the only dude wearing a bat costume, I was with the police. I was like, what is this guy doing here? Get him out. Why have we involved this weird guy who likes to dress up in a bat outfit? Absolutely bizarre. And I don't usually think like that. Like I'll watch most superhero movies and not bat an eyelid at the fact that this guy's wearing like spandex and like, you know, swinging about or doing whatever. But this is the first time I looked at it and I was like, he looks out of place there. He looks very strange, and I would not believe that anyone would wear a bat costume to investigate a crime. But that's just me. To talk about the Riddler, spoilers, the Riddler is the villain. He's pretty good. He's all right. I kind of wish he had more riddles, if I'm quite honest. There was a few riddles. They were all right. Pretty easy to solve, though. You know? The Batman got there just a split second before me, but I was close, I swear, every time. I think he could have had more riddles. I wish he'd spoken in riddles basically the whole time. He has that whole monologue with Batman at the end, and I wish that he'd been riddling that whole time. But he was decent. I think he kind of turned generic at the end when he just becomes a terrorist, really. I think the Riddler can really have some nuance, but... yeah, he just says, do you know what? Like, I've actually planted bare bombs about. I was doing like really specific murders and like intricate ways of killing people that warranted some sort of like intrigue from the audience. But now I've decided I'm just going to flood the city, which really doesn't seem in his wheelhouse, if I'm quite honest. As a weird guy, I mean, I guess he's got those weird followers online. I don't know. I thought it was strange. I'm not sure about that whole plan. I guess they needed a big final third act. They didn't really know where to go from there. But I thought it was going to be sort of more introspective and psychological in the way that he, you know, like fought Batman at the end. But, you know, sure, he was good. The guy who was playing him, I will look up his name because I feel bad now. He was good. I swear I've seen him before. I don't know what I've seen him in. Maybe it's just GIFs from this movie. Oh, shit. But yeah, he was good. I thought the tease at the end with Arkham prisoner, unnamed person, Barry Keoghan as obviously the Joker was all right. You kind of have to do the Joker in these movies. You can't have Batman without the Joker. And I think Barry Keoghan could be a solid choice there. He brings that kind of manic energy in both his Top Boy and Saltburn performances. I'm sorry, those are the two most basic things you could have seen with him in, but that's all I've seen because I'm basic. He brings that kind of manic energy, and I do think that he would bring a good energy for a Joker. It's so tough when you've had these iconic performances like Christian Bale as Batman, or Heath Ledger as the Joker, or Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, or, you know, Christopher Reeve's Superman. It's so hard after that to then try and fill these shoes. And I think that the Joker's got to be one of the biggest ones. Got to be one of the biggest shoe to fill. He must be wearing size 13s. That's got to be the biggest shoe size, right? Doesn't go bigger than that, hopefully. Anyway, yeah, I think it's tough, but I would watch more of this Batman. I would watch more of Barry Keoghan's Joker and that whole gang. I thought, random side note again, the way that they would talk about the people involved, the Maronis and the Falcones, I was getting confused. Which one's a Maroni? Which one's a Falcone? Did we even see a Maroni? Because I know we saw the Falcones. I worked that out. That the guy was Carmine Falcone. I worked that out. They explained that pretty clearly by the end. But they kept talking about these Maroni fellas. Now, I'm not familiar with the DC comics. I'm sorry. I'm a very casual comic book enjoyer. And if I'm going to read one, it's probably just Ultimate Spider-Man, the original one, not the new one where he's old. Yeah, I'm not familiar, so I had no clue who the Maronis were. Every time they kept talking about the Maronis, so that was strange and just confusing with the name Falcone. On top of that, Colin Farrell as the Penguin is absolutely fantastic. I maybe will check out the Penguin series, whatever it's called. Probably just the Penguin, I don't know. But I heard it's really good, and his performance was unreal. Like, you'd have no clue it was Colin Farrell. Prosthetics were really good. Yeah, his performance is great. He's such good fun as a character in that, and kind of needed, to be honest. You needed that sort of like, he wasn't quite super comic booky, but he was definitely kind of like wacky. And there wasn't that many wacky people. The Riddler was kind of wacky, but he was still like a psychopathic wacky, which I think is a different kind of wacky. The Penguin felt like he was the right kind of wacky for this. Still real enough to be a person, but still wacky enough to be a comic book villain. And I think that's good. So I don't know if they kind of keep that up in the show. I have no clue, but I might check it out because, yeah, he was really good in that. Overall, I usually give things 2 scores. 2 scores. Usually I'll give 1 for, was it a well-made movie? Like, did they do a good job at making a movie? Because I think that's different to what my second score is, which is how much did I enjoy it. Because like something could be a really well-made movie and I might be like, nah, don't really care. I haven't seen Oppenheimer, but I feel like that's the kind of reaction I give to that one, where it's probably incredibly well-made, but I just don't care that much. Whereas some things can be really badly made and I can absolutely love them. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe Scooby-Doo 2. That's incredibly well-made, actually. So I don't know. I only have good taste. But I'm going to give it 2 scores. First score, was it a well-made movie? Probably an 8 out of 10. Like, it was really well put together cinematically. I thought it captured the essence of Batman. I thought that, you know, it displayed Gotham in the way that it wanted to portray it, which is just absolutely disgusting. Yeah, I thought it was really well put together, to be honest. All of that, you know, stuff I said. Yeah. And then for how much I enjoyed it, probably a 7.5. You know, 7.5, because it's left me thinking about it for a couple of days, and I think that's a sign of enjoying something when it sticks with you. So I'm going to go 7.5 and an 8, which is going to average out like a 7.5. I'm going to skew it more to how much I enjoyed it this time. I'd give it an 8 if I thought like, yeah, fuck yeah. But I'm thinking like, yes, it's pretty good. I'd recommend you to watch it. I would say don't skip this one. I think it's worth watching. I don't think it's as good as Superman, but I think they're very different movies. And I think I'll talk about that another time. But if you've some reason watched any of this and especially got this far, thank you. This is my first video and I just kind of wanted to talk about Batman, and I kind of want to talk about other things. So if you stick around, I might do that, unfortunately. So thank you very much and enjoy whatever you do next.